Hello and welcome to my channel. This whole series of videos that I'm going to do are aimed squarely at absolute beginners. I don't think there's good content out there for absolute beginners, from getting your chanter in the post to making a sound, playing a scale, and moving on, getting progressively more technical, and eventually playing the bagpipes. There's just not that content. There's a lot of good content out there for other stuff slightly more advanced, but absolute beginners, I don't think there's good enough content, shall we say. So I'm just going to start here. This will be, I suppose, lesson 1. And so you've decided to play the bagpipes, decided to take up the Great Highland Bagpipes, the best instrument in the entire world, biased obviously. But so what do you need? You want to learn, and in these crazy times as well. So first of all, you'll need one of these, which is a practice chanter. Now these come in all different configurations. This is a standard length one. I'm going to show you the assembly, but on a long practice chanter, and as the name suggests, it's just a bit longer and the hole spacing is a little bit bigger. So I'd suggest, if you're starting off first practice chanter, just get yourself a standard length practice chanter. You can get one from the likes of Macallan, R.G. Hardy, David Nail. There's you just have a wee quick Google, but I'd definitely get one from a reputable maker, because it'll last you a lifetime. So you've ordered your chanter online. You've probably ordered maybe a tutor book as well. Could be one from the National Piping Centre, or I don't know if they do the College of Piping Green Book anymore. They are well respected tutor books that sort of lay out the steps you need to take, I suppose, in order to learn. But nothing beats actually sitting down with somebody and having them show you and listen to you as well. That's the important part. So I will show you what you will get in the post. So it will more than likely, your chanter will more than likely arrive disassembled, and you'll have 3 main components. So the first thing, and the most important thing, is this. This is your chanter reed, and this is the thing that makes the noise. So it's a double reed, so the red bits at the top there, they vibrate. That's what makes the sound, and then your fingers on the chanter turn it into music. The thing with your reed is, it's the most important part because it makes the sound, but it's also the most fragile. So we never touch the red parts. We never touch these the tongues of the reed. We can hold the reed on the binding here, because underneath there is a little bit of metal staple, so we can hold it there quite firmly, but not on the red bits. And we need to be very, very careful that we don't bang or scrape the reed. Otherwise, I mean, these are fairly cheap. I think you probably pick one of these up for £5. But it's good to build good habits early, because when you start moving up to pipe chanter reeds, which are 10, 12, 13 pounds each, and you might have to buy 3 to get a good one, it gets a lot more expensive. And if it's just been your clumsiness, you'll be absolutely kicking yourself. So we hold the reed like that between our fingers on the staple, not on the tongues. Put that back down there for now. Second part you've got is your chanter, and this is where we're going to put our fingers. eventually, and that'll be what we move to make sound. And lastly, we've just got the mouthpiece, and that's what you blow into. So we will assemble them. So presumably your chanter will have arrived in the post. See, this is a plastic practice chanter. I've had it for about 30 years now. But the joint here is not snug, the plastic isn't snug, so we use this jointing material here. This is yellow piper's hemp. Loads of things you can use, but essentially it doesn't really matter, but it's just to get a nice snug fit. So when we're pushing the chanter into the mouthpiece, we always hold the chanter at the top, not at the bottom. Again, this is building good habits for when you move up, because if you have a wooden chanter and you twist at the bottom, you can split it. So plastic, pardon me, plastic is much more robust, but still it's a good habit to get into it. You'll never end up in that situation where you twist it here. So we just slide it together like that, and that's how that's what I was trying to illustrate, is how tight that joint should be. I'm not like this, but equally I'm not, and being able to pull it straight out. It's snug, but not crazy tight. You should really be able to do it with, say, 2 fingers. See, you can do that with 2 fingers. That's usually a good guide. So like I say, these are things, maybe extra things that would be good to get. So this is waxed yellow hemp, or you can buy unwaxed yellow hemp and put your own beeswax on it. Wax is really just there to keep the moisture off. Or you get the black hemp. It comes pre-waxed, but I'm not such a fan of that. I use the yellow waxed hemp just for easiness. You can use stuff like, some people use PTFE, plumber's tape. Again, you're just trying to achieve an airtight seal, and you don't want it to be too tight. And that's really it. You can use whatever. I think there's quite a few folk are on about using polyester thread and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter as long as you can achieve a snug fit there. So moving on, we'll assemble this, I suppose. So we pick up our reed, holding it on the staple, and we take our chanter part you put your fingers on, and in the end there is a wee hole, and that is where this reed will fit. So it just goes in the end there, holding it on the staple, and we push it in. Now when we push it in, we're going to push it in, a millimetre or so that we get a nice firm connection there. The reed's not going to fall out. So if I sit this here, and I'm going to be very careful, I'm just doing this to show you, you wouldn't normally do this, but if I lift the reed, I'm going to be careful that the chanter doesn't drop and fall onto the table. The chanter comes up as well, you see, so we know that that's seated well, but really you can do that all by feel, just as long as it's down, push it in, and as long as you get a little bit of resistance there, that's fine. We want it straight up and down, see, it's not way off on an angle here or whatever, it's straight up and down, and that's to help us with the next part. So to complete the build of your chanter, you need your mouthpiece, and this is where it becomes a bit of a fairground sort of game. You have to insert this in without touching the tongues of your reed. So you have to be very careful, thread it in, don't touch the sides, and then when you get to the end of it, squeeze. And that's you've built up your chanter. You're ready to make a sound. So, moving on, what we can do is we can just blow the chanter to make a noise. We won't put our fingers on, but just to illustrate really the sound you're looking to achieve, because you want a nice clean tone. You don't want it to be what we would call crowing, and you don't want to overblow it either. So equally, so I'll illustrate both of those. So first of all, I'll blow a nice clean tone. So that would sound like this. So clean, there's nice and steady, a nice note. So if I was to underblow this, the chanter would sound like this. That's you not putting enough air through, so you have to blow harder. So if I'll blow a crow like that, then increase the pressure and you'll hear it turn into a nice note. So it goes like this. Hear that? The pressure comes up, the crow, 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 and then all of a sudden you get a nice sound. Also, you can overblow. I mean, you need to blow to make these things work, but you don't want to be working too hard. And plus, what might happen is you can make the chanter what we would call choke, which basically means stop working. So I'll blow a nice clean tone and then I'll increase the pressure. You'll hear the change in the note and then the chanter will stop. But you'll see I'll have to work quite hard to make that happen. So and back again. And that's really it. That's the build of your chanter. And if you look after your chanter, that'll last you. Like I say, I won this in a competition when I was about 8 or 9, and I'm still playing it yet. And that's it.